Share my screen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dale Pinkert at TradeGateHub.com, powered by TradeView Markets. Mike, how you doing today, my trading warrior brother?
I'm okay, Coach. Good morning to you as well. It's been one of those weeks, and we're looking for non-farm payroll tomorrow, and
Right.
we're as active as ever in TradeGate Hub, and this is where we are today. This is our second Thursday. Now, anybody that's usually tuning in on, actually, I never did Thursday videos, so this is new because I hadn't done Thursday. So this is our second video, 11 Eastern on Thursdays. Also, we do Tuesdays at 11. So I'm excited to go. It helps me prepare. You know what I mean, Coach? Your conversations of a high level. I just can't say, okay, what's going on? I have to prepare, and it bodes well for my macro view, but also it keeps me sharp, and I appreciate
Okay, well, yeah, tomorrow, a big day. Market seems to be hanging on number to number, but prior to tomorrow, I think we've had a pretty interesting week where we're on the verge of breaking down. In the S&P under 3,600, staged a real, barn burner of a rally in 2 days, and yesterday the break held. And I almost would like to see a strong number, have them take it down for a day or two and be a buyer after the NFP or early next week, reload up on miners if they pull back, foreign currencies, metals, and I even think we're close to a bond low. So I'm pretty bullish here, Mike. Like it's all been one market, as long as the dollar remains behaved and it doesn't blow up to the upside again. I think it's time to take risk.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of, listen, I posted intermittently throughout on TradeGate Hub reasons to be bullish and bearish. I don't have those, but it's flipping, because the later we go and the longer we don't make those new lows, the more the new bad news seems to be priced in the low. There's no more, the fear abates. So the way I'm viewing things, a lot of things, including as quick as the last 2 days, and not giving up a lot of those gains. And we were saying that last week, how we were surprised, or the past 2 weeks, the stocks were giving up gains, but the sentiment is still offside with being bearish. I believe, seasonality, which has been prevalent, by the way, and it's been working. It's made me even a believer, is abating as well, not to be redundant, this being coming into maybe the second week in October. But you also have to view
Earnings, right?
Like I say, I leave it to the professionals, and certainly I'm not, I leave the macro things to you, if you will. And I'm just going by, and this is nothing new, I'm not splitting the atom. I'm just going how stocks, and certainly I can hold a debate with the best of them on a macro view, but my forte, being an active manager, is absorbing and understanding if the news is already absorbed, if it's washed out, if it's taken that way, if the price action is trumping the sentiment. Yes, I understand things are bad, things are blowing up, God forbid, in Poland and everything, but if there's if the number, however it's skewed tomorrow, is taken accordingly how it shouldn't, then the price action is telling you maybe it's coming to the end of peak inflation, or the dollar has actually topped the UUP and the TLTs. And we can start talking about equities leading dollar and bonds instead of vice versa. Correct?
Right. Yeah. So, that 4% yield mark on the 10-year was, a lot of frenzy up there. We came off pretty good, about 45 bips, and now yields are rising again. I don't think they're going to take out the 4%. It would really take, a huge beat on the NFP, I think, to take out 4%. So I'm thinking it could be stronger than expected, but that yields do not take out the 4% yield level and start to head down again, and that's going to lift all markets again.
You know what, Coach? Listen, I couldn't put it better. I could try to spin it. I agree, and you know what I mean. It's that's why there's a bid and ask. But I'm just even talking from the equity side. As a matter of fact, literally before I signed on, I added to my PayPal position right here. And For a trader that's got a thick skin and basically will do whatever, especially
Yeah,
always starting in small increments.
yeah.
If I buy, if I'm looking to buy something like a uh, whatever, even like
I
let's
like these patterns, Mike, that have not taken out their June lows. I mean,
well,
that and PayPal's like that.
and this will edify my point. When I do something, I say, like for example, if the stock is going down precipitously, let's look at whatever it might be. Let's look at Microsoft, for example. All right, I mean, my ultimate compliment is what if I'm thinking about buying it or concentrating it. I also think the flip side, where I actually short it here instead of. So my point being is a lot of stocks that have bounced, I was starting to buy on dips. And I guess they know in stage one trends and the pump. I get it. You know what I mean? But a
Looks like
lot
you
of
have a
these,
lot of shorts trapped that
well,
under 240.
there's still over position, under way offside
I
positioning.
mean, that last break cleaned out the June lows and had everyone bearish Microsoft, and then all of a sudden we're gapping up this
But
week.
but you know what, Coach? It was the
People are
same thing with
flat-footed.
oils. It was the same thing with oils. There's a shot on Chevron a week ago. It looked
Yeah,
like it was going. I mean, you draw the line, blah blah blah, back right up, and the oils did the same thing. Google
yeah,
had a nice base and spent a lot of time below that
yeah.
96, 95 area,
They
waffling
look
below
like
the whole.
false breakdowns, Mike. I
Well,
mean, when
they
you
are.
take out a major area like that and then you close back above it, sometimes those are your best trades because you have everyone wrong-footed or at least not long.
Well, okay. When we've had a couple of guests lately, and we've always said this, Coach, and I'll reiterate this, but this is advanced trading is the sentiment, and we were stretched considering. Look at, I mean, the spies just still stretched to the
Yeah.
downside. The sentiment stays stretched a lot longer than the price action. So yes, it's a tool, and we had a couple of guests that says don't go by sentiment, and he's right to a degree. It is a major tool, but the Bank of America indicator is still at zero. We can even go to here with hedge fund. Well, I can go to. You have to go to Monday's data or go back a couple of days. This being Thursday, all data basically here we are on the spies is still relevant because we basically and started the well. We're up for the week, but it's basically still relevant. It's almost dynamic data that sent. I'll go here, and I will make a
You know,
quick
that
point.
Friday closed, Mike. It was right not to be long on that Friday close. It looked ominous,
Well, you know
but
what? It was almost binary, and we said throughout the
yeah,
week, Coach,
yeah,
if it wasn't, and I on my Monday morning video, and I really would, really would, it was my best video in some times, and it wasn't even a trade that I put on. It was how I handled that morning. Always
right,
go to the red YouTube button, show my videos 2 days ago, wherever it was Monday. Go to that YouTube video. So the
play
bottom
it.
line was this, and it wasn't a long. But I was prepared. I wasn't max long. I wasn't biting my nails over the weekend, which I would never do anyway. I wouldn't lose a wink of sleep. And why? Because A, I had a plan. B, I was only about 50% invested, maybe even a little bit more than I should have. But as I prepared for that, and we'll go to the spies again.
Well, you were looking for after we got through that period, and we did bring up on these broadcasts that the last couple of weeks in September, actually it was the whole month, there were those negative cycles we talked about from Larry Williams and someone else, and they cleared up. They were going to clear up in early October. That was going to be the time to look to get long again, and certainly was.
Listen, and
And
Coach,
just beginning.
this is something you can't teach, and it's unfortunate because it's a great tool, and you have it innately, it seems as well. Is that it's just the timing feeling. If it was that easy, every algo would have had it pinned mathematically on the low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said,
So you have to change your mind. All right. So,
well, you have to be
I used to
well.
be one of the most stubborn guys,
Well, the
Mike,
good thing about me starting, and that was one of my greatest acumens, Coach, is that
not
I
being
started as a
stubborn.
day trader, and I was able
Okay.
to flip automatically and not be like, well, I hope it comes back, hope, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or things. But it started as a day trader, and that helped me get in and out, and then view things. Then I started to stretch the parameters a little bit.
Yeah.
But things are turning a little bit. The seasonality, people are still off sides. Let me go back to what I want. I made a point here. And by the way, everybody knows I'm always mixed. Yes, there's always a problem because long, short. Here's fear and greed, whatever that was, Tuesday, October 4th. So we're still off sides. Gerard, posted the extreme overbought and oversold. We went from the most oversold in 30 years right now after the 2%, after the 2-day rally, the biggest rally since 2020. And I said, it says the video, that doesn't impress me anymore. When you've had bond market moves that you've had move 50 years, bond markets in the dollar that's been 40 years. You think something in a 2%, a 2-day move since 2020 is going to skew my decision?
It's the new normal.
Yeah,
New
no,
normal.
that's, I'm in. So it's healthy that we didn't give back most of the theme and most of the pullback. And I know I'm jumping around a little bit. And the point I wanted to make is the best video I had in some time is Monday, is how I prepared for that possible Black Monday. When I saw that with the currencies that Friday afternoon at 4 Eastern were not out of whack, and I saw at 6 o'clock the futures were, they might have opened down 8 handles and went down, not whatever, 22 or 23, I believe. I think I'm pretty accurate. And then I watched the Nikkei open and things were calm. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I did the usual thing where I put my hand over the phone to see if it was red or green. And then I saw that the first thing I looked at is that Bitcoin and the current, because it's the first thing I look at. It's in order. The cryptos were even or raving me. So then I looked up at the dollar, the pound dollar was unchanged.
Pound was up. Yeah,
it was. And then the Europe, then what Tim taught me about the pound yen was calm. And then I saw the DAX was down 1.5%, but the FTSE was up like 20%. And then I looked at the 4 a.m. quotes, and nothing was had some volume too. 2 weeks ago on a Monday morning, and by the way, it was risky because the last 6 Mondays in a row we've had a nice down open, and then had a turnaround Tuesday. And so then I saw the DAX go up, and the futures were active. So then when I knew there was an Armageddon, and by the way, over the weekend there wasn't even any sensitive news. There was just overall nervousness. And then I'll even go to this right here in our point. Where was it? And it was a relevant indicator. And bear with me, right here. Blow it up. What does it say? When people panic, they sell everything, and that's what it was the other day. There was just complete, just like you said, and I was fearful too. Believe me, like I said, I wasn't losing sleep, but I had a freaking plan, and to a degree, I wanted them to open down, because what I really did with that bounce back of the last 2 days was make back a kind of stocks that I was a little bit early in, like a Zillow or a Wayfair or even Apple or Google, that I had an average price of like 99. It was at 96. That still had to have a 2% bounce in order to be forget even. And then I had to reevaluate and blah, blah, blah. I'm still reevaluating. So that's how I handled that.
Okay. So we'll see. Everything kind of depends on the dollar and yields. And I think that we had a turn this week. I'm wrong. Of course, someone asked me in an interview, Dale, what would change your mind about the narrative that you're talking about? You know what my answer was? My stops.
Oh, I saw that tweet. I saw it was a like or a tweet. I saw that.
Yeah, my stops will change it.
Well, the thing is this, and I would say this, I would implore this to everybody that's trading, if you will, excuse me, is when the VIX is still this high, and basically whatever it is, 28, 29 still, it's still elevated relative to, there was summers when it was between 12 and 14. So, your job, if the market is that active and your job as a trader, first of all, if you're watching every tick, you have too much on. That's number one. Trust me. Number two is that when the VIX is elevated, it's your job to honor the stops, maybe not physical stops, because there's a lot of volatility and you might get bad fills, and I can't put in stops because I have some larger size and everything, but your job is to honor those mental stops. Just like I'm saying, I use the analogy.
Most people don't have the discipline to honor them, Mike. You know why? I didn't. So I'm just saying it's unusual if you have the discipline, and all it takes is that one time where you have a mental stop and you say, nah, I'm just going to give it some time.
And it's happened to me more. It's happened to me more times than not. JKS Solar. It's in for me with NVAX to a degree. Fortunately, I'm selling on bounces, and not adding to
Yeah.
pullbacks. You know what I mean? It's
You
just,
know, I have an expression, the last time I used a mental stop, my first stop was a mental institution.
well, yeah, no, I understand.
Anyway, so I recovered from that nervous breakdown. Anyway, Mike, so I really think people have to really look at themselves in the mirror to really know if they have that type of discipline.
well,
And I'd rather be stopped out and maybe I get a bad fill, and then the market goes my way. It's called being wrong the trade, right the market. And I'd rather be wrong the trade, right the market, and just re-enter. That
well,
if I still
you
have
can always,
evidence.
I know you can always buy it back, reshort it.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
can't listen, you can't have an opinion. It's harder to change an opinion than a bad habit. For
yeah,
example, if you contra trade, what is it? I think it's what takes 28 to 32 days or something to break a habit.
yeah.
Try to break the habit. It's hard to change an opinion. Very
You
hard to change
know,
an
you know,
opinion.
I've interviewed Schwager, and he's interviewed the best, and most of them on their breakthrough. Some of these guys that made it, they went bust, not using stops, and this one guy goes, "Well, I never put a trade on without a stop, even if it's you know, a huge stop from wherever the market is, like a fail-safe stop." So if the Wizard is good enough for the Wizards, it's good enough for me.
No, I listen to those. I listen to those that are better for me. I just try to take an amalgamation of everybody. Here you go,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
Well, you're a very disciplined guy. I think you could do it. I'm just saying that a lot of guys, it's not a good habit to get into until you've been in the market for a decade or so
No,
and
no,
really
no.
know
I don't
yourself.
encourage it at all. Why even
Yeah,
bother getting that habit or getting that way and then having to work to reverse it? Just put that energy towards your plan, your style, or what's your greatest acumen. Don't even go
yeah,
there. But here's a
yeah,
GLD Lotto sweep, 5,000 GLD calls right here.
yeah. The medal's a little give back, but to me it looks corrective. I still like them, Mike.
I
If
bought
they
AGQ.
if the shares pull back on a strong number and higher yields, I view that as a
Oh,
buying opportunity.
here's a buying opportunity in AGQ right here. Look at this
Yeah,
chart. What does this tell you?
yeah. It looks good, but I mean, if we pulled back one more time interday to
No, I got
what
we're
is
up
it,
to yeah,
22 and a half
22 and a
was
half.
moving.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I'd
20.
buy it there
I
with
bought
like
a
a
little more
stop under
NEM this
20.
morning. I did the same thing with NEM. I bought more.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I like it. AEM,
Yeah,
how'd that do after that run, after the pullback? There's
yeah,
AEM had a big, that
yeah.
AEM 46 to, LVS is acting good. One of our stocks was still in that. How about, I mean, that you want to talk about stocks that are changing? I mean, I'm not, I, like you
They
said,
all are.
but that LVS, you want to talk about a
That's a
stock that I
breakout.
would not short. You know what I mean? That's a chart
No.
where I would, that's so LVS I like. We've had a little position. What else did we do? That's looking good. I had some charts here.
So the stocks that just started to break out this week, like this one, people would say right now, "Oh, I'm late," but you know what? It looks to me like you're right on time,
Here's our
even though you
aside.
didn't
No,
buy it
coach.
cheaper, huh?
Listen, it's another cliche, but it is true, especially for a person who adapted from short time frames. I'm talking about minutes to being front. It's not where a chart has been; it's where it's going.
I saw a chart. I was going to ask you. I saw this issue. You're probably aware of it. I believe the guy was being interviewed. I think he was the CEO, maybe not, but the issue is called Trade Desk.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
familiar
yeah.
with it? Trade Desk?
TTD.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's one of
Uh,
the.
I, you know, that's a pretty interesting pattern. It might sell off one more time, but that's you know, they came back, filled the gap. You have a view on it?
I think it's listen that move that happened. By the way, if you see in what it will, we'll put what is it? What date is this? We'll look at August 4th. Okay,
Yeah,
August 4th is when the stock started to move up.
right.
August 4th, where the market was where? Like right here. So it ran up with a short squeeze with the market. It did. And it was got a
Yeah.
little ahead of itself. And that's why it still is consolidating. And the NASDAQ had its what?
But
It's got
still Another one that didn't take out its June
No,
low.
no, that's right. No, that's one of them. It's actually written down right
Well,
here. I
there's a
like
lot
that
of
one.
good constructive chart patterns going into December, I think.
There
This
are. And
rally,
here's one I like. Snowflake is acting a lot better. You
yeah,
know, how about this? I mean, the NAS, this is where the Qs are. I mean, they're basically just a little that two. If it wasn't for the 2-day rally off the low, we would be at the low. But this is where Snowflake is. A best of breed. Warren Buffett's also in it, and it's it's a
good
good,
company.
not even close. So that's one. As I said before, I've been saying like for the past month, maybe month and a half, stocks are one. And by the way, I was right. Like in Microsoft, it was one
Yeah.
move, one announcement from a 4-day, 5-day percent to move down. But now this Microsoft is one. It's more likely to have one announcement to propel it up to the 50-day and even to the than it was to. It's going to take more bad news to bring it to a new low than good news. You know what I mean? It's washed out.
I
That
was
type of stuff.
talking to Julian about Apple today. If you pull up the Apple chart, and even if you're a bear in the equity market, and you think Apple has lower levels to go, it looked to me like it could first make a move up towards 160.
Yeah, well,
Okay, you got 54.
a lot of these
Yeah,
stocks go back. Like I use the fifth of my gauge for shorting, and I'm not alone. This was taught by my mentors. Is that the 50-day moving average is a nice intermediate term moving average. This being the light blue, I'm gonna have to change
yeah,
the color. The light blue.
yeah,
So that would be 154. I like it like at the strike price 150. I want to overthink it, but
yeah,
certainly I wouldn't short it. And
yeah.
in fact, if we are past peak inflation and the dollar calms down, that with the earnings season coming up, I think I'm not playing it this way. I believe that everything has been just so uh everything has come down so much, including offsides positioning in the NASDAQ, CTAs. I just think we'll see. It's going to be the next quarter is going to be determined the seasonality and probably through the rest of the year into the first quarter next year, because this next quarter of earnings is just like Walmart had the hangover. And, Walmart said, this is going to be, 3-4 quarters, and that dipped its hand right there. These stocks going with technology stocks in this quarter coming up, stocks in this quarter going up are going to be, this, it could reverse the Walmart chart, meaning technology stock could say, hey, things are getting a little bit better out of the water. MU is bouncing a
148.
little bit. Well, I mean, it doesn't look like MU. MU is
Yeah.
bounced nicely. It's built the higher low. If it, consolidates above the 50-day, it's, 55 to strike. I'd like
Is
to
that
see
how the
160.
semis look too, Mike?
Yeah, most of
SMH?
them do. Well, ON Semiconductor has always been the best of breed. It's still in the fund. It's never broke the 200-day, and it's shown us no reason to sell it. ON Semiconductors, LRCX, I saw, which by the way is in the capital equipment sector, has been showing at signs of life. That was normally the best of breed. That was 700, got brought down to 360. And by the way, that got brought down with the market. It wasn't any like major Lamb research news that says it's over. That was a product in the market. It's always maintained that way. Hey,
So when
Matt,
does when do people have to start getting concerned with tax loss selling, because there should be a lot of it this year?
I think well,
Don't you think
I
people
think a
taking
lot of
their
margin
losses?
call. I think a lot of margin calls have done that the past.
Okay.
I do. I think a lot. I mean, if you're not out of, first of all, if you're in Apple from 20 and you're aware that it's going down, I don't think you're going to get margin called out. So what I'm
No.
saying is, I think a lot of that tax loss selling, which by the way, I think you can agree that the retail investor basically has dissipated, if not disappeared. So the retail investor, I think, are the ones that really got stopped out. The guy that's sitting on 10 million, 15 million stock in Boca Raton is not really dumping his apple here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it.
So that's my opinion.
Nice place. So want to wish you a lot of luck for tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah.
I think that, I walk away from our talk today feeling even more constructive because I got a bigger view of the universe through all the different stuff that you cover. So when we run through the charts, it kind of either reinforces or negates the narrative I'm looking for. I think you got to buy breaks.
Right. Like I said, just like, it's like those movies, like let me use Top Gun, is where you always see where they're lining up to shoot the Russians. And they have those, what do they call those things? The target ranges, the three of them that
Yeah,
go like this. So
Yeah.
there's the chart of the macro view of the market. It looks like we're going to move maybe to 4,000. The chart of the compass. So maybe the charts are aligning. The sentiment is aligning. You know what I mean? And God forbid you go with the trend and you try to lock everything at once and then put a good trade on, you know?
One more short squeeze in this market, it feels like.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm positioned that way. The VIX is, listen, the VIX, I don't think you're going to, unless there's when I talk about this, a major binary, I know
Global.
throw the word that throw a lot,
Yeah.
to get it
Yeah.
to the VIX 40,
Yeah.
to have that capitulation, we just might not get that yet. With seasonality there, with peak inflation maybe behind us, maybe evidenced by tomorrow, with stocks making nice move off the basis that people are actually getting comfortable with and not going in with their little toe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave
It's a
it at
little
that.
concerning, everything that's happening around Japan and Korea
No,
and China right now.
absolutely.
So, you always have to have one eye on the exit, and this may be the kind of move you'd want to have do some covered call writing on top of anything you buy
No, I
to
think
have a little
anybody needs
cushion.
some
What do you
help.
think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Anybody needs some help on knowing how to do that, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll help you. I'll probably
Yeah, get a hold of Mike,
looking
and
more.
Mike's willing to, help you out, and so that, you could participate and still have somewhat of a hedge on in case we have a geo event that none of us could predict when, how, where, why. So Mike, to me, the next major event's NFP. If it comes in a little bit stronger and everything sells off because everything's going up together and everything's going down together, I'd use the break by early next week, if not tomorrow, to be a buyer of almost everything.
I think we'll into the 12th, maybe into that weekend. And
Yeah.
listen, I've been trying to get better, I always try to get better at everything. That's not a cliche, trust me. And there's a chart in this NTNX, by the way. I like this thing. You do some research on it. That's also held up good. It was like a TTD chart where it had good
Yeah.
earnings.
Yeah.
It based because it needed to work off that big move. It's above the 200 day. It's a sexy area. It's got a little bit, it does stuff for Tesla. It's got some chips in it. What is this going on? CPNG. Oh yeah, coach. CPNG, another one. That's healthy. Look at
That's
this
a breakout
Well, it's not a breakout.
today.
That's what? That's the Korean or Chilean internet stock, CPNG.
Interesting.
It
Yeah.
is. And then I look at JMIA, then SE, by the way, I like that too. SE's in the group. I'm going to still buy B Mooring SE. So you know what, coach? I'm going to write down anything. What my mentors would told me, the stocks that are acting good before the non-farm payroll, which have good range, volume, and price action, are probably going to be either algo wise or stocks are acting well, like a PayPal will be bought up or revert, or the weak ones, they'll go back into that. It's not going to be that big of a myth. So doing your homework and knowing your style is more tantamount than anything. Because there's not going to be a lack of stock selection at TradeView and TradeGate Up. That's a fact. That's a guarantee. I know Tim. I hope Tim will let me use the word guarantee that you'll be not short of stocks or financial instruments, what to do, or a lack of high opinions with that.
Okay, Mike. Good hunting tomorrow, my trading warrior brother. Thanks for hanging out for half an hour and us going back and forth with what the squiggly lines are telling us today.
Halliburton chicken. Yeah, you got a PCG. Look at this stock, PCG. Let me just show one thing. I can't stop. I talk forever. PCG, hot stock. That shows you this is a utility.
Oh, wow.
All right. You know what it takes to move PCG, a utility, from this like this? And by the way, everybody hates the company because they blew up half of California, didn't they?
Right.
So there's PCG there. That shows you price action, range, and volume. All that matters. See
Look at that green volume bar.
That volume bar said something's up. Watch it. It may not matriculate. It may take a day or two to develop. But once it had that volume bar, it took up that new high on that volume bar. I don't care if they make widgets. Do it. There's things to do in this market. You don't have to be bearish or think the world's coming down. There's plenty to do. I'm sorry to cut you off 1,000 times.
That's okay. Volume precedes price. And,
that's correct.
We're full of nice ideas, and we're very nice. Price and nice. They rhyme, buddy.
Cheers, everyone.
Anyway, have a great trading day.